So I honestly think that in this day and age, we are extremely spoilt. Like we have things pretty easy on the whole. Life isn't really that hard for the majority of us, I think. And yeah, okay, some people have issues, serious issues, but I think for the most part, yeah, I mean, most of us have life pretty easy. Especially compared to way back in the day when people were fighting wars and going into battle, getting themselves killed. The probability of dying at any moment was just way higher. So yeah, I think like nowadays, we have life super easy, and sometimes I think that it's very easy to kind of lose sight of that and just think that, oh yeah, life is so terrible right now. Life is very depressing, or it's so difficult. Why has life got to be so hard right now? But it's actually not. This is like the easiest it's ever been, probably, in human civilization. Arguably, past sort of 50 years or so, I'd say, it's just been like that, I think. And yeah, I think we have a lot to be grateful for, and it's easy to forget that, I think. And yeah, it's easy to lose track of that, lose sight of that. I know, like a lot of you guys are probably thinking that, yeah, you're probably not happy with like your dating life, or maybe some other aspects of your life. Maybe you wish you had more money, or better social life, something like that. And that's fair enough. Of course, it's worth improving, but I feel like certainly the majority of us most likely have a lot to be grateful for. And I'm just talking simple things, just the ability to literally just walk outside and, walk on a pavement. We take it for granted, we take so many things for granted, your computer, the fact that you're watching this on YouTube or whatever, having that technology at your hand, at your disposal is just incredible. And yeah, we're spoilt, we're massively, massively spoilt. And we don't realize it, we don't realize it because we're so fixated on our problems. We're so fixated on having something that someone else has and that we think that we need, and we think that it's going to make us ultimately happy, but it's never going to be like that. So like, you go on Instagram, you see somebody else with all these followers or money and girls and lifestyle, whatever. And you think that, oh, if only I had that, then I would feel fantastic and my life would be complete. But it's just not the case, because even if when you have those things, you're just going to want more. You're going to you just constantly want more. It's a perpetual cycle. It's not going to truly ultimately make you happy, because happiness is a bit of a fallacy, because there's no such thing. You're always going to be wanting more and more and more. And the only way to actually, I guess, not necessarily get out of that cycle, but to sort of understand it, is to actually practice gratitude a bit more, and just realize that, you have a lot to be thankful for, and don't take for granted what you actually have. So like, for example, you guys, for the guys out there that are watching this, that, potentially you've got, issues that you wish you could address when it comes to your social life, dating, whatever. Try to think of actually what you already have, because chances are, you have something to be grateful for, and probably a lot to be grateful for, most likely. So yeah, and there's so many opportunities now, compared to, as I say, like 50, 100 years ago, that, it's easy to complain, it's easy to be in a sort of depressed state, but actually, we've never had it easier in this day and age. And so, yeah, you have to really sort of look at it from that sort of perspective. But I think really when it comes to, not being happy or wishing that you were in a better place, realize that actually you probably do have a lot. If you've got if you've got like a working body, a working brain, a roof over your head, the ability to walk outside of your house, not get shot, then chances are, you can actually do something worthwhile, and something that's actually going to satisfy you. Of course, it's only going to be temporary, because once you achieve that particular goal, you're going to want more and more and more and more. But it's just about being conscious about that fact and actually reflecting on what you've already got or what you've already done. That's super important. I'd say it's like, it's just as important to reflect on what you already have or what you've already done, as much as it is about striving for more. Because obviously you don't want to be like some guy just sitting in a field and just being a potato because he just realizes that his life is complete. You want to like obviously strive for more. It's good to be ambitious, but I think it's important to have that right balance in terms of understanding that what you've already got and what you've already accomplished, and your existing resources, let's say, are just as important as striving for more, I think. So yeah, try not to lose sight of that, and just realize that it's you're not in such a bad place, most likely. And if you think you've got problems, most likely somebody else has got problems exactly the same as you, if not worse. So yeah, just try to sort of just obviously try to improve the situation, whatever that is, but don't get so sort of consumed into thinking you're in such a shit place and that somebody else or lots of other people are in such a much better place than you. I tend to find that to be the case with a lot of guys. They think that they're in such a terrible situation, but actually it's not that bad. It's actually quite normal, to be honest, and things can be improved. So yeah, just wanted to share that, I guess, just that concept of just being grateful for all the little things that you have already and that you probably are taking for granted, or that you're probably forgotten about. And yeah, I'm talking about things like the roof over your head, the pavement that you can walk on, the ability to watch this on your phone or on your computer and having access to the internet. The fact that we have that is just incredible. It's just actually absolutely amazing that we have this technology and these resources. And yeah, we're just incredibly spoilt. I mean, can you imagine like going back in time, like 200 years ago, and just like showing someone a laptop or a mobile phone? They would have just been absolutely amazed and just be thinking that we're living in some kind of utopia right now. And to some extent we are, compared to back then. And so, yeah, we have a lot to be thankful for. So just don't forget that. Just be mindful of that. Practice gratitude just as much as you practice striving for more and, achieving your goals and whatever you want to achieve as well.
Cheers for watching. If you'd be interested in one-to-one coaching with me, where we'll go out in public and work on you approaching girls, or more generally with your social confidence, please visit my website ed-game.com.